Right. Okay. So, interesting. Interesting. In a live test. Why? All right. Well, let's see. Let's see how it actually goes. Actually handles itself. So, I don't know if anyone's actually gonna turn up for this and pop into chat. Um, the testing some things out, and now Twitter has a tool called, or Twitch has a tool. You can do a stream test that you put a modifier onto the end of your address, and then it sends the information to Twitch, but doesn't actually put a live stream out. And this sounds like it would be like really super helpful. Like you could go into like a private mode, but the problem is that it doesn't actually give you enough information. It basically just tells you, like, it might as well just be a signal test. It doesn't tell you if your settings are actually like any good. So the only way to actually see if the settings are working and are tolerable is to do an actual live test. So I've done a few tests at the current settings. So as you can see, so 1080 60p at 5 kilobit per second. And the Twitch inspector told me everything was fine, but now let's see how it holds up in an actual environment. Also, I've completely rerouted. I've completely redone. I rewired like all of my audio to make it a little bit more controllable, a little bit more predictable. Now, what I hear should be what you hear, which means that we shouldn't. It should make it easier. It should make it easier to get a good balance between various audio sources, and in particular, hopefully, ideally, it means that people calling in shouldn't be we shouldn't be struggling to hear them. The only place that it's going to become a problem is on games like we might run into issues with things like we might run into an issue with things like Subject 13, where like the game doesn't really have good audio controls. Or no, Subject 13 did have audio controls. It was a different game. What game was it? There was a game that we were playing recently where like we got into it and it was like really loud, and there was no in-game audio control, and it was really kind of hilarious.
Brave Ulysses, the great Alexander, Attila, Lancelot. Only you possess the
So Dante's Inferno. So we're doing a 1080p 60 test here. Dante's Inferno is not actually outputting 1080. Like it only outputs at 720. But so we are upscaling it to 1080. So it's not technically a pure test, but I mean we are outputting a 1080 signal, and you should be receiving a 1080 signal even if it's upscaled. It just means that if you were actually watching this on a like proper 1080 device, it would look a little bit soft from the upscaling. Though I think I turned off all of the upscaling filters, so it might look a little bit more jagged as a result of that. But even though Dante's Inferno isn't actually 1080, it is 60. So it's a good test for that reason. Lots of fast action, lots of fast motion. You know, it does manage to actually do something right. So I figured for that reason it would be a good test to use. Also, I mean, look, Devil Dong, surprise Devil Dong. I bet y'all weren't expecting Devil Dong today. Oh. Big ol' floppy dick. Big ol' floppy dick.
You have done far worse than I. I stood for my fellow angels, for reason and justice, and then he made you.
So we'll finish this and then I'll stop the stream. I'll wait for Twitch to kind of finish encoding it. Then I'll go take a look at it and see how the quality's looking. Like, I hope it's not over compressed, but I mean we're within the recommended settings, so 5 kilobit is a little bit under their peak, but it's over their minimum. I'm kind of aiming right down the middle. My stream health monitor is telling me my stream health monitor has been green the whole time, even when it's spiking up to like 58, which is good, which is kind of what you'd expect. Like in theory, my internet should easily be able to handle this. Like 58 is still a good bit under my output cap. So yeah. It doesn't look compressed at all from a 480p perspective. Alright, well, I mean, that's good. Like, I guess that's good. Like, if the 480 version looks good, that is a good thing. Alright. Goodbye, Satan. Okay, so now here's kind of the actual test. So we go into a pre-rendered cutscene here, and this cutscene, like this stuff actually looks pretty good. Like they did a good. Visceral did a decent job at some parts of this game. Like the cutscene, like the devil looks pretty good in that shot. I also turned off. So it turned out that all along I've had a 250 millisecond, or I shouldn't say all along, for a very long time now I've had a 250 millisecond delay inserted into the mic audio stream, and that was to fix a problem from years ago that hasn't been relevant. So I have in all likelihood been ever so slightly out of sync for like a year, for like 2 years. So,
not a single soul may leave this place.
Is this Visceral instead of Blur? Yeah, this was Visceral. This was, yeah, Visceral Games, EA. Yeah, so this was Visceral after the EA acquisition and before the EA dissolution. Yeah.
I will reclaim my right.
So at this point, definitely no sequel coming anytime soon. Though I guess EA still owns the IP right, but yeah. It's just don't expect Dante's Purgatory, let alone Dante's Paradise.
I have collected many souls on this pilgrimage.
This plot point is so stupid. It makes zero sense.
They now possess the power.
None, actually, I mean, nothing in this game really makes it. The entire premise of this game is mildly offensive from
We can use it together.
Well, from a bunch of different standpoints. I shouldn't just say from a doctrinal standpoint, like from a bunch of different standpoints. It's a little yeah.
Together, we will rule the three kingdoms of the afterlife.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it had a terrible. So. Yeah, stitch that stomach vagina back up. Yeah, the Screaming Wrath boxes. Oh man, all of the advertising for this game was just terrible. Like the whole marketing strategy. It was right around the time, like this was the point where game companies were really starting to go in on the whole manipulate social media in order to like not just generate controversy. It's like, I mean, because that's old as dirt, you know. Controversy as a marketing tactic is old as dirt, but like controversy specifically aimed at social media and the way that gamers react to topics. You know, like they blew it. They blew their wad way too early with their marketing campaign, but the whole hired protesters, the fake protesters, like they understood with a laser focus how gamers were going to respond to that perceived criticism. Like they knew. And, you know, it's still trashy as all hell. But it's like, you know what? In retrospect, yeah, you guys had it. You saw it. You knew your target market. So text stream with with a bit of titty, a bit of dong, lots of ass. Oh, the cross turns into a snake. And of course, the cross has to turn into a snake in order to justify the following two games, because otherwise, how are you going to have God of War style action combat games set in purgatory and paradise? Yeah, so yeah. No, it's not a tattoo. It's okay. So Dante's cross is, it's the cross off of his hauberk that's he took, or is it a hauberk? Tabard? His tabard. So he took his tabard and like cut it apart and cut the cross out of his tabard and sewed the tabard cross onto his chest. Like that's the opening. That's what the opening cutscene. It's very hilarious. It's very, very funny. Like really funny. Yeah. So, all right. I think developed by Visceral Games. Yeah. I think that's going to do it for a tech test. I'm going to go do some other tests. I'm going to check some stuff. We might have a chill stream later this evening. Maybe it'll be a surprise. But if Crystal's up for it, or even hell, I might just do one solo. Do some Factorio, something. We'll find out. We'll see. Thanks for checking in just to respond to that and letting me know that things look good. It does look like things are good and things are stable. So I'm just gonna hitting that stop button.